All right, everybody, this is John. Welcome to the free video. And just want to take a quick look here at the S&Ps and the NASDAQ. We are not too far off from the all-time highs, which is around 6150, give or take. Huge, kind of a rounded bottom here. And now we've got this kind of big, if you've heard of a cup and handle, it's kind of like the monster of all cup and handles, against all, so much negative news out there. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. But the stock market is the stock market, and it prices things 6 months in advance. And so the idea from here that we can get through this, and could we get up to a 1272 extension, anything like that in that zone is kind of interesting. So what I wanted to do is look at the SPX, and then look at the NDX, and then we'll take a look at some of the sectors and things like that are leading this. And of course the NASDAQ here, kind of the same. It's only, at this point, 300 or 400 points off of all-time highs. And I think the most interesting thing about this is that it's happening without Apple. Apple's kind of DOA at this point. And so, a solid question here would be like, well, gosh, if Apple, kind of like the largest, or I guess second largest company on planet Earth, isn't participating, then how is the NASDAQ making new highs? And well, part of it is Microsoft, new all-time highs. Meta, close to new all-time highs. But it's really been a strong resurgence in semis. And so semis at this point, if we kind of look back from where we are on this, semis have had a huge move off of the lows and also kind of coming up to highs. But we're also seeing some of the names, NVIDIA, of course, is the biggest one here. NVIDIA is close to new all-time highs. AVGO was in all-time highs, had their earnings, they're selling off, and they're still, kind of where they were at their prior all-time highs. That's a $1 trillion company. And so we're seeing kind of more and more of this where kind of a coming up through the ranks here. So it's not just about the Mag 7 at this point. It's probably the Mag 20, give or take, in terms of the number of big companies that are participating. So that being said, are there any kind of bigger concerns out there from a macro level? Well, Bitcoin is the ultimate risk on indicator, and as Bitcoin is going up, it just shows that there's an appetite for risk. So appetite for risk is there. In general, we want to see the dollar moving lower, and just think of this as a loosening of two ways to look at it. One, it's a loosening of financial conditions. Most like emerging country and global debt out there is based on the dollar, and if the dollar is getting cheaper, that means the other currency is going higher, and then it takes less of their currency to pay off their debts. That means there's more money, to circulate in the economy and all those things. So we're at a pretty critical level here, and kind of topping out, and are we about to set up the next leg lower here? That would be huge. And then from there, it's really just about interest rates. And interest rates here have been stubborn, and you're seeing that we're not at new highs on interest rates, but we're not too far off of those highs either. So we tacked in here just a little over 5% on the 10-year, and we're just kind of sitting in that area. And so the question at this point is, it's really the only wild card. Everything here is poised in terms of the business cycles improving. The tariff wars at this point are kind of dismissed as, just like, okay, let's just kind of see how this plays out. Business is business. There's efficiencies coming in with AI and all the kind of the fun things here. And so, the question is what is it here that people aren't seeing? What could be kind of the next shoe to drop? And really at this point, it's if interest rates just explode higher. And there's a huge short position in bonds. Professionals are kind of assuming that bonds go down, which means interest rates go up. They could be wrong, but I would say at this point that's the only wild card. Everything's kind of setting up for, one last hurrah. I've talked about the real estate cycle, the 18.5. It's kind of 18.5, 19-year real estate cycle, and that kind of comes up to play again at the end of 2026. And that would be the equivalent of the last one was kind of the end of 2007, give or take. And if that happens, then you would see 2027, 2028 is kind of a big decline in stocks and residential real estate and things like that. But prior to that happening, there's still room for one more kind of blow-off move where we enter kind of in the speculative phase or maybe one more speculative phase, for stocks and for land prices and stuff like that. So anyway, that's all kind of what's on the table here. And the next 3 quarters or so, possibly 4 quarters, we could see some interesting kind of speculative fervor coming into play before things could get a little dicey, to say the least. Anyway, that's something that we'll continue to follow up on, of course. All right, and then just as a reminder on some of the MOMO plays, I'll be doing an all class all day on this Wednesday, tomorrow, and Thursday. So I'm just reviewing this Tesla trade. Yesterday we got some MOMO coming in, and we picked up a long position and then sold it. We sold it today just because we actually got up to the target we were looking at. But if you see here on the 5-minute chart, or yesterday into the close, we had really kind of some nice action kind of into the close, and then nice continuation today. And what you want to see on this is you kind of get this gray back and forth. That's great. You're not really falling apart. And then when you see the blue, it just means we're ramping, and it was awesome. And we sold right into that. And it wasn't a huge position or anything like that. Just a debit spread, good for 17 grand, and pretty easy to hold on to. And a lot of people asking like, "Oh my God, are you gonna hold this overnight?" I ended up taking profits, but this is certainly something that I'll be looking at again for tomorrow, and I'll be doing this in our live trading Wednesday, live trading and Thursday for the MOMO class. So if you're already signed up for that, awesome. A lot of people signed up for it. Remember, I won't be in the Mastering the Trade room. I will be in the MOMO live trading class. And if this is the first you're hearing of it and you'd like to sign up, I think there'll be a link, after this video where you can take a look at it. Anyway, looking forward to it. Seeing you guys and gals tomorrow. Have good trading, and should not be dull.
Hey, John here with Simpler Trading. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, comment down below and let us know what topic you want to see us cover next. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you can get notified when we release new videos. And if you want to watch us trade in real time using our own money, go to simplertrading.com and learn how to sign up. Good trading, and we'll see you next time.